Hi, I'm Danielle.
And I am Kaylin.
And this is A Penny for Your Crops Homestead. 1 year ago, we bought a 20-acre property in Northern Idaho. We are here at Lake Coeur d'Alene, waiting for our house to close.
Mommy!
A year ago, we had just moved here. I didn't know how to edit any videos really, and I gave a really strange tour of our property that was kind of long and involved shots of me like walking in the dirt, not talking. I don't know. At any rate, I am here to give you a tour of our property, this time more cinematic. My hair has grown so much between that video and this video. It was up to here.
I know, I don't even remember what my hair looks like.
You always look the same.
Oh, thank you.
Kaylin and I grew up in San Diego, California.
I moved to San Diego when I was 6 years old.
Okay, now you're too serious.
No!
Yes, and you have something on your chin. It's brown. No, like lick your finger and get it off. Kaylin, stop f***ing around. I just want to get this done with.
Let's go. You're the one f***ing around.
When we turned 18, we moved to Northern California for school. I dropped out of college for many different reasons. The first and foremost, I suppose, being my son. Yeah. And we loved it there. It was the most beautiful place. We loved the trees and the forests and the culture, but we had to move again 4 years later so that he could get his master's degree. We moved to an even smaller town with only 30,000 people in it, and we loved the small town, but we hated the rolling golden
goat hills.
The rolling golden wheat fields. And then 2 years later, when he had his master's degree,
we moved to Kansas City, Missouri for a job.
And then 2 years after that,
we moved again over
here
to the foothills of the Canadian Rockies.
We found out we were moving on April 2nd,
2020.
We were moved out here by the 27th of April, and we closed on the house late May. We were looking for lots of land with forest and a big enough house for our family. That is how we came across this piece of property in Sandpoint, Idaho. The first thing we did was get chickens. And by the first thing we did, I mean the first week we got chickens.
We didn't have this chicken coop though. They were where the ducks are.
Yeah, they were not originally in this coop. They were in a different area in a little tiny brooder. And they spent their first 4 weeks inside.
Hello.
I had never owned any farm animals before. I'd never owned chickens. The thing we'd ever owned in San Diego was dogs, and they were...
Let me correct you real quick. You had guinea pigs, you had rats, you had...
Oh. Yeah, I guess
you had lots of animals.
Okay, so growing up in San Diego, I had rats and guinea pigs for pets, and eventually my parents bought a dog. He had dogs, that was it. And then when we left San Diego and got married, we got a dog, and then we got another dog. So when we moved to this property, we had 2 dogs, a bird, a parrot named Quidditch, who has since passed away, and our children. We cut down a couple of trees in here, and we made it our kids' play area. This is the chicken coop. This is a real little weird structure that we think might have been a chicken brooder and a rabbit hutch, but we're not, still to this day, we're not sure what it really actually is. And we don't really use it because it's, well, tilted very badly.
We've used the lumber.
Yeah, we've ripped out some of the lumber to use for scraps, but that's it.
For the chicken barn.
This is our backyard. It has not changed. Okay, well, I can't say that. There were a bunch of trees in it. You could barely see through them, and you certainly couldn't see the mountains from that deck. And now there's just a couple trees remaining. We want to eventually create a manicured backyard and put up a lower back porch. And over here to this side, we have a trail that leads all the way out to the back of our property towards the
lumber company.
And we use this hill in the winter to sled down. Here, when we moved in, there was a lean-to shelter they attached to the trees that we have now in the buck pen that is way back there in the woods. But here's the front of our house on the other side. In front of our house was this gardening area with raised beds that we have since torn down because we didn't want our garden space right in front of our house. And now, ooh, almost fell. This is going to be our garden space. And there are the repurposed, reclaimed garden beds from the original ones. We still have to hoe up that grass, put netting around it, get the garden beds installed, and we will have our garden started. Our last frost date is May 30th. Let's see, let's get a shot of that. To this side of our house, there were a bunch of trees that we have since cut down also. You can see the stumps. All this area we wanted really clear for a future gazebo that we hope to put there, and we wanted to have a better view of some mountains. All the way over here, there was nothing, just this old broken down barn that was unoccupied. There were no doors on it. The siding was ripped off. It was disgusting on the inside. We repurposed it and made it into a functioning goat barn for our baby goats and mama goats.
Meh. They're so adorable. They're a herd.
Are you having a good day? So in September 2020, we got our very first dairy goats. And shortly after, we got this guy. We got Romulus because Case and Point, the neighbor, called me the other day to let me know that just a few doors down from us, there was a cougar spotted just walking through somebody's backyard in broad daylight out here. Because we're pretty rural, we have lots of predators, including all kinds of bears, wolverines, I think, wolves, cougars, raccoons, the list goes on and on. At any rate, we wanted an LGD. I've wanted a big dog for a very long time, and I was always worried that he would be aggressive and I wouldn't be able to control him. But after having 2 dogs and being on a livestock guardian dog training page that was really good, I felt confident enough to get him, and he is wonderful so far, and he is 10 months old. The only thing that existed over here was this fence, and most of it we took down. There's that fence over there, and that goes all the way down and around about 3 acres, I would say, maybe a little more. And then back there is a cow shelter, and we took some of that apart until we realized that we would be putting our chickens elsewhere. You got a snake? Got a snake? Got a snake? Get the snake. What kind of snake is that? This is our well house. This is just the well house.
That's Boo. You went around.
Stay out, kids.
Why?
It's destroyed right now with trash, but this is where I'm keeping all of my seedlings right now, and this will be our permanent housing for seedlings as far as I can tell. And all our feed goes in here. We also let the cats live in here because they didn't have anywhere warm to go this winter, and we can't have them in our house.
This is the workshop.
That was very quiet.
This is the workshop.
It's musty in here. We're gonna use those for chickens. And then here's this very old thing that we don't use. We use this instead, this wall heater, to keep it warm in the winter. And it worked okay last year. Well house, goat barn. And here is our cabin. And lean-to. In the beginning, we kept our hay in the well house. Now we keep it here in this lean-to since we don't use the lean-to for our car very often. And all of our storage.
This used to be the living quarters of the previous owner. They lived in this, attached to the well house, attached to a trailer, which is no longer there. They lived in this while they built the primary living quarters that exist over there now. But because this is dilapidated, we are now converting it to the new chicken, wait for it, cabin. We were going to try to convert it to an Airbnb until it was going to be a few years before we actually did it, because financially it's a lot of work and a lot of money to put into it. But now that lumber prices have skyrocketed, it's almost impossible to even think of it as an option. So we're going to utilize it as a useful outbuilding.
They used to use this as a pig farrowing area. When we got here, there were big panels all across here. There was a workbench in the back. It was absolutely filthy. I know it looks filthy now, but if you think it's bad now, you should have seen it before. This is where they were keeping pigs, apparently, in this 2-story house thing. We ripped out all the rats' nests. We cleaned it all out. And we sprayed some beds with some black spray paint in here, so it looks a little funny. But this is going to become the new chicken barn.
I took down the floor up here, and I'm going to bring it out to probably maybe there, maybe a little farther. We're going to bring it out, and we're going to create a loft with that ladder there that we'll be able to use to access the supplies up there when needed. And then I may create a little subwall that folds down, so if the chickens try to fly up there, they won't be able to.
This is this year's batch of babies.
I missed.
Last year, our first year in homesteading, how many of these do we have, Kaylin?
We got like 26 chickens or something.
Yeah, we got like 25 chickens and that was it.
And we thought it was a lot.
We thought it was a lot. We got down to 17 because of calling roosters, the neighbor's dog eating one of our chickens, and all
dying.
that. One of them got shut in a brooder and died of internal bleeding. We had 6 meat chickens last year, and this year we have ordered 52 that are on their way. If you watched my last video about the chickens, the meat chickens that we ordered that were all dead, and I said I tried to save some, this is the only one that made it out of all 52. Poor little guy.
We shall call you
Fried chicken. Sorry, little buddy. We should receive a new shipment from Hoover's Hatchery within the week. And then here's our baby silkies. There's 20 silkies and 40 of those. Here's the back of the girls' goat barn. There was a fence all the way through here and then going out to our driveway all the way around and around. For cows, we took it down and we made the buck pen. These are our boy goats. Hi, babies. Blaze is looking a lot better, I feel like. Don't you feel like he has less dandruff? I feel like he has a lot less dandruff since we've been giving him black oil sunflower seeds. I need to give him their copper bolus. Bootstrap Billy and Blaze Hayes. We cut down a few trees back here to make more room for an orchard that we've started. We've got about 15 fruit and nut trees, and this is the beginning of our next winter's wood curing.
A lot has changed in the past year.
I mean, 2 dogs and 3 kids.
The 3 dogs and 4 kids.
And
Chickens.
9 ducks and 17 adult chickens plus
92.
60 egg-laying chickens plus 52 meat chickens plus
2 mama
6
goats. 2 baby kids. 2 bucks.
And 2 cats. I'm sure that things are going to continue to change because that's just the homesteader's life, is constant change. So if you like homesteading and you like change, we are your people to follow.
Agreed.
Can you say, love you, good night?
Love you super much, good night! Thank you so much for joining us on this homesteading tour.
See you on the next vlog. Bye!
Peace out.